Autism is a disorder that has become a lot more common and understood over the last couple of decades as the frequency has increased dramatically. It's an impairment of social understanding, social interaction, language impairment, and typical behaviors which are considered stereotypical of the disorder, which often involve repetitive patterns of behavior and the inability to interact in what we consider to be typical or normal fashion. There's no question there's a genetic component, at least in part, to autism, and people speculate as to why the frequency has increased so much. Remember, this is a disease which has a spectrum, so there's a wide variation as to how people are affected. And some of the increase has been due to our increasing recognition of the disorder, our ability to label it more appropriately, but I think most experts also believe that there's a lot more of it. And the etiology of that is hard to know at this point in time. Environmental factors are always a concern, whether it's related to dietary factors, whether it's related to strictly environmental factors, contamination. There's some clustering of autism around certain areas. This is an epidemiologic mystery at this point, and there's a lot of work going into trying to figure that out. That's an important clue to the understanding of the disorder, though, as to why do we have more of it, where is it clustered, and what does that mean? All the things that we sort of take for granted with the human condition are struggles with many people with autism. And part of a focus of our therapy is to help people understand their behaviors, help people understand how to interface with other people in society. Some of the focus is strictly on behavior. Behavior is malleable, and we can change behavior. And so we do that at a very early age, and it's been very effective. What differs with autism as compared to other developmental disabilities is we believe we can make a much bigger difference in the outcome of an individual. But we think we can actually improve their ability to interface with their environment, with other people, their ability to get along on their own. We don't think that everybody is destined to be supported by other people or not to live their own independent life. We think we can make a very big difference. That requires the earliest possible diagnosis and treatment, and we mean around the age of 2 or so. One of our big initiatives with the mayor in the city of Utica is to try and get everybody identified at a young age such that we can get the appropriate help. That requires everybody. Populations that don't have as much access to health care or to diagnosis, we need to get into those populations, immigrant populations, populations living closer to the poverty line, and make sure that those families and those children are getting looked at, evaluated, and getting help as well. One of the things we're most proud of here at the Kelberman Center is that everybody has access to these wonderful professionals regardless of their ability to pay or their ability to access the healthcare system. One way that you stay ahead of the curve is to listen. Listen to families, listen to affected individuals, and try and understand where they're coming from. It really helps us to be a family-based organization. We're not just a group of professionals who don't understand the experiences that kids and families are going through. We listen, we try and anticipate, we try and respond, and one thing you'll see around the country is this tremendous concern that as all the support that we've given to individuals in preschool and in school age, as they hit the age of 21 and get removed from the school system supports, the bottom falls out. And that has generated tremendous concern around the country, and everybody's scrambling to try and start to address this. And we have been on the very front edge of that curve, trying to understand how can we make this better, what can we do, what are the needs, and then what are the solutions. And that's where we've been putting a lot of time and energy. And as I say, I think that we have some very innovative solutions that are going to be hopefully announced and discussed over the next 12 to 24 months. In many ways, a community this size is the optimal laboratory for doing innovative things. In very large cities, it's a bit chaotic, it's very hard to get space, it's very hard, costs are very high. In very small towns and villages, there simply isn't a critical mass to create meaningful change. A medium-sized city like Utica is perfect for that. We can do a lot of innovative things, and we can change the way individuals with disabilities, and specifically autism, are living in a society, and this is a perfect place to do that. One thing I always say is, we're making great efforts to pull our individuals and families towards the norm, towards the center. But at the same time, we're pulling everybody else in society towards the middle as well, so we can meet in the middle and have a good understanding and a good existence for everyone. You know, it's important not only for the individuals and families to do well and to have meaningful lives, but it's a benefit to society as well. The more we can do, the more meaningful lives that we can create, the better off everybody is. And I think that's a really important goal.